Oh yeah, you know what time it is. You already know what's going on. I'm your host, Cam Silver.
I'm your co-host Kyle Silver.
Welcome back to another episode of the Silver Boys Podcast.
Sir,
Man, Kyle, we have finally made it to the NBA Finals, and let me tell you something. If we get anything like game one with the rest of these games, we're going to seven.
we're going to seven easily. This was a barn burner. Um, Big leads being changed. All playoffs long. Man, Indiana, man, Indiana. That's all I can say. They got voodoo magic going on or something, man.
Yeah,
They really
whatever,
do.
whatever dark magic that they had cooking up, man. Let me tell you, it's working.
It is working.
It's
It is
working
working.
overtime. It's working.
Yo, for real, for real.
It is working overtime. Just going back, so Tyrese Haliburton, after Shea Gilgeous-Alexander actually pulls up and has a good shot, has a clean look, a shot that he made thousands and thousands and thousands of times, especially over this season. Um,
Mhm.
he pulls up from the mid-range and then, he misses it off the back iron. Indiana gets the rebound. They give it to Tyrese. Tyrese gets the ball. He gets the matchup that he wants on Case and Wallace. Fakes like he's going to the basket, pull back, step back, hit from the midi with point 0.3 left to go to give Indiana the go ahead and to win 111 to 110. Man, this was a game that for the most part when I was watching, I'm like, okay, they're staying in it. They're staying in it. They're fine. No, no lead is obviously insurmountable for this team, or even for the Thunder. And that fact, for
Yeah,
both teams have been reacting this
yeah,
this whole postseason. But you could tell that Indiana, they were just always there. They were just always there. Every time the Thunder made a run, Coach Rick Carlisle called a timeout, regrouped, then that they made their little run. But then in that fourth quarter, Moss Turner started to turn up a little bit. Andrew Nembhard
hmm
started to be more aggressive. Tyrese started to be more aggressive. Everybody just became more aggressive. And I was like, dang, if y'all would have just did this in the first half, we probably wouldn't even be here at this point.
I know.
But
And it really starts to beg the question with OKC. I think it's just more of, and even Indiana, like, is Indiana really just built perfectly, honestly?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
the Pascal Siakams of the world, and if Miles Turner turns up like he did in the fourth quarter of this game, and he plays an entire game like that, and also another thing that's just baffling to me, SGA with 38 points, right? 38,
hmm
38 points, and you guys still lose. And then Tyrese Halliburton, what he had, 14.
Yeah, 14. Nembhard at 14, Turner at 15, Nitty Smith with 10, Siakam with 19.
A complete group effort, honestly. And that's what you're gonna get every time Indiana touches the floor. They play together. They know the ins and outs of the game. And if they down 15 and they could cut it to 10, and if they're down 10 and they cut it to 5, and if they're down 5 and they could cut it even more, they're gonna do that. We've seen them keep doing it. And for Tyrese Halliburton, they hit another game winner on a game one, man. I don't know whether to be like shocked, upset, mad. I don't know.
I don't I don't even think I was shocked. I wasn't surprised. I was like, this is what he does.
Like when he came across half court going to the right and he hit him with like two hezzies. He
Yeah.
hit Jason Wallace with two hezzies and he came up and pulled and shot it. I was like, this is gonna go in. It's just there's no way. There's no
Mhm.
way. There's no way. He's
I
built for these moments, yo. He
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is.
When Shea had missed the back iron and Indiana had gave it to Tyrese, I got up off my couch and I was like, okay,
Uh-huh.
I know
I
exactly
did too.
we already know exactly where this is gonna go, and it's just a matter of him making a shot, which he obviously did. Just going a little deeper into some of these stats. So NBA teams were 0 121 when down by 7 points or more in the last 3 minutes of regulation in the NBA Finals over the last 28 postseasons.
Wow.
Crazy, right? Indiana committed 25 turnovers and still won the game. That's the most since the Blazers in 1977. They had 27 turnovers in game six.
Oh my gosh.
And then Hallie is 6 for 7, when taking a shot to tie or take the lead in the last 90 seconds of the fourth or in overtime of the playoffs. That's the most such shots since in a single postseason since 97.
I know I seen a stat. Most go-ahead field goals. He has five, and then the next one was Reggie Miller with five, and then the next one after that was LeBron with eight.
Yeah,
Elite company,
yeah, yeah.
elite company, man. I can't sing Halliburton's praises enough. I really can't. He has a he's I was always a fan. Don't get me wrong, but it was more of I didn't expect this. I
Yeah,
really didn't.
yeah,
And then I started to see it when he hit his game winner over Giannis. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, okay,
right,
okay, brother.
right,
You want the ball in clutch time essentially. You want the
right.
ball with 10 seconds left on the clock. And he's proven that he's gonna make that shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, he's the
Whether it's
man.
a three or a pull up mid range. Like he just got it. He just gonna make it. You
Yeah,
know how we
yeah.
almost expect Brunson to make these shots. Tyrese Halliburton. What the Halliburton, man? What the Halliburton?
Hallie, man, gotta love it. You gotta
Hey,
love it.
yo, the Halliburton. Yo, they came to OKC, bro.
But it's funny because the same exact thing happened to OKC against Denver.
Yeah,
Same exact thing, So I wouldn't say I'm interested to see how OKC responds, but it's gonna be a little different because this is a team that plays the full 48 minutes. And what's the thing that we always say? What's the thing that all coaches all around the world always say? You know, whether you're up 20, down 20, it don't matter. You keep going until that final horn sounds. And that's
for that
exactly.
5-0.
Exactly, and that's exactly who Indiana is, man. But I, it's funny. It was funny just watching, just like seeing people before the series started, where they're saying, Thunder in the sweep, Thunder in five, and I'm like, to not give Indiana their respect as if they haven't gotten out of a pretty good East, against the Bucks, going against the Cavs, even though that they were injured, whatever. Still, they got through them. Went through a rough, rugged, Knicks squad to make it here. So I think that everybody, per usual, and I feel like we've done it all season. Like no matter who you are, you've done it all season, especially last season as well, where we just kind of count them out or we just look
Yeah,
past them. And I think it's more so of their market, and because no one had ascended to that superstar level like Tyrese has now officially. So
I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I second
yeah,
everything that you're saying right now. I
yeah,
don't have nothing to add. He's proven the difference between star and superstar right now. He's quite literally ascending to the superstardom right before our very eyes,
yep,
regardless of it. And yeah, okay, his market is small, and that's partly why I even overlooked him. Like, it's like, oh, he's going to like he's in Indiana, man. Like, what are they really going to do? But
right,
then you really start to watch this team, and they are a team, and we expected this. We said this. It was going to be Indiana OKC, two young teams that want to run up and down the court. They have two very, very, very talented, just dogs as point guards,
yep,
and
yep,
then you have great supporting casts. Excuse me, you have a great supporting cast from your second man, from the shooting guard, your two man, all the way down to 9, 10. They could play
yeah,
on both sides of the ball.
yep,
On both sides of the teams, honestly, OKC and Indiana. Um, Again, I agree with what you're saying. I'm interested to see how OKC comes out. Do they come out shaken? Do they look a little shaken? Do they come out and just blow Indiana out the water? Like, I think that's really because we know like what this team really can be capable of, you know. And I'm expecting like a 148 to like 139 game like next game because
yeah,
these teams are high powered offenses that they know how to run, man.
yeah,
Ooh, let me say one more thing. J Dub gotta be better. Jalen
yeah.
Williams gotta be better.
Yeah,
Gotta be
yeah.
better.
He played an all right game. You know,
He played an okay
he has some
game,
pretty
but
good shots, but for a number two, yes, he has to be up in a 20 range, 20 or more. Dort came to play, 15 points, 4 boards, 5 for 9 from three. Typical Alex Caruso coming off the bench with 11.6 boards and playing defense. He just has to control his fouls a little more. He gets a little too excited on some, like trying to get steals, trying to, but also it's because the team does switch a lot. So sometimes he does get on big. So sometimes that's why
yeah,
he does get some of his fouls. But you could be okay with some of those fouls though, because you would like to send the bigs to the line, right? Hartenstein, they made a switch. They had Case and Wallace in, and instead of Hartenstein. I did like that switch though because it does match up a little more better. For OKC, but Hartenstein 9 points, 9 rebounds. But the person who I believe has to really be better, Chet Holmgren.
Chet. He was. I felt like he was very non-existent today.
Yeah,
Honestly,
invisible.
he didn't make an impact on this game whatsoever,
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And he was
and that's
actually
concerning.
And he was the person that I was actually looking forward to seeing the most because Indiana has not seen Chet at all this season for both games that
Hmm.
they played because he was hurt for most
Wow.
of the season. You know what I mean? So it was very, very interesting to see what Mark Dayton does, to try to get him inserted into the offense more because when he's inserted into this offense more, and then you have Shea obviously clicking off, then J Dub starts clicking off, and then everybody else starts getting theirs. If you have Shea up north of 30, then you have J Dub at 20 something, you have Chet of 15 to 20 something, then that's when this Thunder team that we've seen all season becomes very unstoppable.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
so I feel like, yeah, I feel like for the most part, Chet and J Dub, they just have to play better. J
And
Dub,
I,
like you said, J Dub, he's gonna do his thing. I think he will play better, but for most part, Chet he just has to figure it out.
and it's his first time being here. Like it's a lot. This kid, this kid probably, it's just a little overwhelming. I can't really be mad at him for that. It's game one. I'm not mad because it's game one for
Right.
right now. For right now, and I've seen OKC bounce back in ways that are super surprising, where they look like they can just blow a team out by 50. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if they do that against Indiana game two, that's now we need to start having a real conversation
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
now we've seen Indiana pull it out, barn burner real close, and then let's just hypothetically say game two they get blown out the water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What goes wrong? What changes in that instances from game one to game two, and especially on the OKC offense side? That's where I'm interested. Again, SGA had 38 points and Haliburton had 14, bro, and 6 assists. It wasn't even like he went crazy,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
assisting wise.
He
He
didn't.
wasn't putting up his normal numbers, and they still won.
And what's crazy? That's one thing I have noticed about OKC. They will limit you with your passing
Yeah, yo,
because everybody
the way they were playing the lanes
they play the lanes perfectly.
perfectly.
Play the lane so perfectly. Like as I'm watching, especially in the first half, because I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Indiana had like 18 turnovers in the first half. As I was watching that in the first half, seeing Halliburton passes get picked off and seeing him get
Mhm.
stripped in ways that he has not gotten stripped and gotten picked off this whole postseason had me like, wait a minute. This team really is different defensively because everybody knows how to play the passing lanes, and they do it without fouling too, for the most part.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
That's the scary part about it too. So, for the most part, on the defensive side, not much that you have to really change. It's just more so of just limiting Indiana's opportunities, honestly, you know. And it's all about, and the number one thing on defense that everybody should know, and if you don't know, I'll tell you now, communications. You got to communicate no matter what happens, whether you're on the fast break, whether you're in half court defense, you got to communicate. Obi Toppin was another one that came off the bench and really did a lot of work for this team. I think it was what, 5 for, yeah, he was 5 for 8 with 17 points.
Wow.
That's
That's yeah, that's huge.
that's huge.
That's the difference though,
Yeah.
of why they won
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, yeah. He was able to come off the bench because no one else off the bench. It was very weird for this Patriot team because usually you have about like two guys, maybe sometimes three that come off
Like
the
a
bench and
TJ
have double
McConnell,
figures.
yeah.
Yeah, like TJ McConnell. I think this is gonna be a little bit of a tricky series for him because everybody's long.
he is essentially the smallest player on the court.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. It's
And
Jalen
yeah,
Brunson
I mean,
anymore.
okay, you got to face you going up against Luke Dort, dude. Or you got Luke Dort across from you. That's a tough matchup. You ain't gonna be a little, you know what I'm saying, shifty guard like you was.
Right.
Dort just gonna lean on you. He gonna put his body on you, and that's what I'm expecting him to do against Hallie a lot, and even against like a Pascal Siakam a lot too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm interested to see how over the next 6 games, the next 6 games, if it goes to 7, I'm interested to see how much more they can play defensively. Like, because you allowed this team to come back from 15 down and you were still, it seemed like y'all were clicking offensively,
Right.
in OKC. You guys were right there, and then, I mean, just no lead is safe. It's just that's all you could say, bro. I don't even a team could be down 30 in the third quarter with a minute to go. I'm like, this game isn't over.
No, no,
Like,
no.
and that's crazy to say because in such a change in how we think now,
Yes,
of
yes.
how we used to be like, okay, they up 30.
They up
Oh, I'm gonna
30. All
turn the
right.
game off.
Yeah.
I'm turning the game off. You know what I'm saying? Now you locked in to see
You
if this
locked in.
team's coming back.
You almost
That's what
have
you
to
want to see.
you almost have to make sure that the game is over.
Yeah, no, for real, for real, for real. Because then you could go to sleep, brother. You know what I'm saying? You wake back up and look, Indiana up one all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah. Next thing
Yeah,
you know,
what? What?
next,
What
next thing
happened?
you know,
What
next thing
happened?
you know, 50-point comeback. What? Wait.
Hey, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, I mean, that just shows who got those dogs in them, man.
Yeah, yeah, and I love this matchup, and it's funny because like to before we move on to another topic, but this is, you know, I just love this because this whole time I was laughing at everybody who was complaining about the views and complaining about this matchup and how nobody wants to see small market teams, bro. People want to see basketball. And this right here
Facts.
is basketball. These are two teams that match up well together because they're of their pace of play, because of their youth, and because both teams play really good defense as well. So, all you have to do is laugh at those people because, and I remember Kevin Durant's tweet, he said, NBA fans don't really like the NBA. And that shows it right there.
Nah, for real.
Y'all sitting here worried about views and all that good stuff, bro. Regardless of what's gonna happen, the NBA still got to go on. Somebody's gonna put these games up.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of the matchups. It's just a matter of these teams coming out to play, and that's what both these teams came out doing. And now look, everybody's tone is switching, and everybody now all of a sudden wants 6, 7 games of this.
I know, right? Exactly. Exactly.
So gotta love it, gotta love it. But let's move on to some off the court stuff. So the Suns signed their next head coach in Jordan Ott. He was the Cavs assistant. He's been an assistant since 2012. He had a strong background in offensive and defensive creativity, player development, and communications. And Devin Booker was heavily involved in the search for their next head coach. I was very interested in this because not many people have ever heard of Jordan Ott. I never heard of Jordan Ott like that. I've obviously seen his name floated around a couple times, but very interested to see what they do, what he does with this Suns team, especially with the more than likely of Kevin Durant moving on. Does Bradley Beal move on? Where do they turn from there? Because Devin Booker is what, 28, 29 years old. He's in his prime. How do you flip that real quick for him to be on a championship team? That's the thing that I'm looking for Phoenix right there. But the
I
bomb,
agree. I agree.
but the
I,
bombshell that hit us all, the Knicks fired coach Tom Thibodeau after back-to-back 50-win seasons and making the Eastern Conference Finals in the first time in 25 years. He led the Knicks to 4 playoffs out of his 5 years being there. The Knicks are saying that they're focused on getting a championship coach, and they believe that the team needs a new voice.
man, when I seen this, I didn't know how to feel about it. I really didn't because I just know had they had Hadley's shot not gone in game 1, and had it gone to a game 7 back at the Garden, and I truly wholeheartedly believe the Knicks would have won in the game 7.
Hmm.
Tom Thibodeau wouldn't have been fired.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, I mean, obviously, you two wins away from the NBA Finals. You get this team here to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know, man. This took me back a little bit, but I'm not. I'm also not really that mad at it because kid, his style of play win you a championship. You know,
Yeah,
it, I say that to say, we know he just burns guys into the ground essentially. Long minutes. One of the indictments against him was the fact that he used his bench. What game was that? Game three. He
yeah,
started putting his bench in
yep,
against Indiana, and Deuce McBride, all of a sudden just essentially extended your season out another 2 games. You know what I'm saying? 2, 3 games. But could that have been, I'm gonna say, could that have been found just earlier on in the season, in the regular season? Had you played these guys a lot more, could their confidence have been built up a lot more? Could you know what I'm saying? So
right.
they would have been ready for this type of moment. There's a lot. I think there's a lot more questions than answers right now in regards to the firing of Tom Thibodeau. I'm 50-50 on it. I really, really am because he got us so far right
Yeah,
here, right now.
right.
And pure just small things got him fired.
I
So I mean that's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. When it happened, I was not shocked, a little surprised, but not really at the same time. I think the first question in my head was, okay, well, who's next? Who's that champion?
That's the only question.
Yeah, that's the real question right here. Who's next? Who is that championship coach? Obviously, like you said, the biggest thing about Coach Tibbs is that he runs his starters into the ground. Can't possibly play all five guys 40 minutes every night and then expect to win a championship. It's not going to happen. We
OKC would have ate them up if you know what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if OKC would have seen the Knicks, it probably would have been a sweep. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's
They would, yo, Jalen Brunson would have just been tired, way too tired.
Shea would have just put him in a post and would have just got busy the whole
He
game.
would have ate at him, bro. Barbecue chicken, as Shaq used to say.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's one of those things where it's almost hard to believe because he brought this team so far, because we haven't seen this team do the things that they've done, for years now. Like I said, the last time they were in the Eastern Conference Finals was in the year 2000, 25 years ago. And
I
like
wasn't even born yet.
that shoot, I was only two. Like,
Yeah,
you
yo,
know what I
what?
mean? Like we didn't even seen any of that. But that's why it was a little surprising to me, but I understood it. But like I said, the biggest question now is who is going to be the next guy up? Who's going to be the one that actually gets them over the hump? And then what moves are they going to make this all season? The draft is coming up and, right after the NBA finals essentially. So what are the moves that will be made? A lot of splashes are going to have to happen. And whether them getting like a Giannis or a Kevin Durant or whether them just stretching out that depth, they got to do something, obviously.
That's an important conversation that we have to have. Is I don't I love Giannis. Obvious, like he's a transcendent superstar. Get him into a New York market, brother. Yeah, okay. You got Jalen Brunson, cool, and you got Giannis. Where's your bench? That is what I'm going to be concerned about from here on out.
Yes.
I don't. This star stacking stuff is
It's over.
I am concerned about having depth
Yes.
because I just seen two teams that and possibly even if Minnesota beat OKC, that would have been another team that has
It
depth.
has good depth. Yes.
I,
That's
you could bring in any coach you want, yo. Like it's about maximizing the 12 guys on your roster.
right.
I think
Right.
that's the most important thing, and not just focusing on the 2 to 3. Yeah, all right, Giannis could give me 40 and 20, and so could Brunson. Brunson could give you 40 and 10. You know what I'm saying? On any given night. Yeah, okay, cool. They cool for a good 80 points. Josh Hart, if he comes to play 20 points, okay, I could get 100 points between 3 to 4 guys. But every night, consistently,
Yeah. It's not possible.
Yeah, not the way OKC. I've seen the way OKC is built right now. Not the way Indiana is built right now.
Hmm.
Not even the way the Cavs. I think the Cavs, still have some things to say a little bit.
Yep.
Minnesota still has, still ascending. This is tough. So, and I really, in my heart, I don't know if I want Giannis. I'm going to be so serious here. I'm gonna be so serious.
I completely understand. I completely understand because I don't want this team to sell out for another star. Like you said, we're not in that era no more. I think this finals right here between Oklahoma City and Indiana will transcend the next era of the NBA.
Yes,
You
we're
need to
about
have
to see
depth.
a lot of young cats that could just run up and down and can play defense and that are long
Yes.
and just young thoroughbreds. That's what we're about to see,
And
and that's what these guys are going to start building their teams around.
yep, exactly. Exactly. And that's what you need now. And it's clear as day that we seeing it now. That's what you need now. Even a team like Boston last season had pretty good
Honestly,
depth.
yeah.
So that's what it's really gonna come down to now. It's gonna come down to making sure that you got, the young guys leading the way and you got the depth behind them. And and you got a good veteran like a James John it's James Johnson back there, or I'm forgetting his name. But you need
James Johnson, I think he is on the Knicks. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
not on
No,
the
no,
Knicks.
I'm sorry, no.
I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about on Indiana.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're
Hmm.
right.
You need James Allen. You need the PJ Tuckers. You need guys like that, that don't really get playtime, but they're back there and they're very, very, very involved, encouraging the team, making sure that they understand, you're never out of the game and things of that nature, because those guys seen it all already. So, you
Mm-hmm.
need stuff like that. But yeah, man, that like I said, I think Indiana and Oklahoma City, this finals right here will set up the next wave for the NBA. And this it was primarily the reason why I was so excited for this finals to come up.
We got two teams that stack perfectly against each other, and it's a coin flip now. At this
Yeah,
point, it really is a coin flip.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because when Thunder had first got in to the first got their slot into the finals, I was like, okay, I see the Thunder basically winning. But then as I did my deep dive and I started looking in more and obviously watching more of Indiana, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a lot tougher than everybody thinks, and it's
And
gonna
people
be
think
like you said, it's gonna be a coin flip. And honestly, like I don't,
I don't
these ain't
mind
none of my
either.
teams. These ain't none of my teams, so I don't really care. I don't got no stake in nobody, but I just want to enjoy basketball, and this is exactly what we getting. We getting the best of basketball right now.
I love it. I love it. Give me 7 games. Give me 7 games. Give me 7 games. But man, if it goes 7 games, I already know. Indiana finna be praying. I already know. And Haliburton, he gonna hit a game-winning
Yeah,
shot, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, bro.
whatever
And everybody that ain't been calling him a superstar,
he
they
gonna
gonna call him a superstar.
he gonna mess around and hit a half court shot.
Yeah, I'll go to. You know what? I'll
All I
just get up
know,
and walk out.
all I know is I think he signed the Puma, right?
Hmm.
All I know is I better have a overrate that t-shirt or hoodie by the end of this. That's all I know.
Yo, nah, for real. Overrated what? Overrated now? Okay, whatever.
I
Oh
need
my
a
God.
I need a t-shirt, a hoodie, or something. Shoot, I'm gonna just get his face on it. I don't care.
Just the base facts, facts, facts.
I'm gonna need it.
I ain't mad at this young brother right now, dude. He proving
Mm-mm,
everybody
mm-mm.
wrong, man.
Man, and he proving everybody wrong. I got nothing but love for it, and I love seeing that. I
Yes,
love
sir.
seeing that. All right, you want to
Sir.
kick me out? All right, watch this. I'm gonna kick everybody up now.
Yeah, literally,
You
I'm
feel
about to kick everybody's booty.
it? Right before we get out of here, because we probably only got like a minute or so. Going to football, Aaron Rodgers finally plans to sign with the Steelers before Tuesday's mini camp. So, um, I think
Oh,
it's just one of those where it's like, all right, now we have an actual quarterback as a Steeler fan. Not expecting anything crazy from him. Just at the end of the day, just keep him upright. Just let him throw the ball, let him sling that rock. He has DK with him, he has Pat Fryermuth and all these other pretty good guys. So at the end of the day, just make sure that the O line is good. Make sure that they're keeping him upright, and just take it from there. We're in mini camp. Like I said, we're only in June. We still got a couple more months to
a
see
long way to
how they
go.
how they put how they put this together. Yeah, we got a long way to go. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I ain't gonna say nothing. I just want to see. I want to wait and see how this works.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. That's why I
That's
just said I'm gonna keep it brief and I'm gonna keep it short and just let you guys know that it's finally happening. Whatever,
about time. About
whatever,
time, brother.
whatever hole he came out of, he's finally crawled up out of it. So.
Whatever sauna dark spot he came out of. Yes, yes,
Exactly,
yes.
exactly. But that is our episode for the Civil Voice this week. I hope you guys enjoyed just as much as we did. Game two of the NBA Finals is Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Make sure you sit in front of a television set because that is going to be a fun one. But till then, I am your host, Cam Silver,
I am your co-host Kyle Silver.
and this is the Civil Boys.
Thank you. Thank you.